Well, these Derrick Henry to Philadelphia rumors, they just won't go away as a new report cites Philly as the frontrunner for King Henry's services. There's one factor, though, in play that no one seems to care about. Also, Haason Reddick's trade potential might be getting crushed due to this new report. And you gotta hear why Justin Jefferson might be the main reason why Philadelphia extends DeVonta Smith sooner than you think. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Remember how the Eagles are now flying to Brazil for Friday night's opener in September? Well, Peter King might have leaked their opponent saying he's feeling good about Cleveland, Philadelphia in Brazil on the evening of Friday, September 6th. Now, that's a long way away, so do with that information as you will. Personally, I'm a little more interested in the latest on Haason Reddick's trade situation, which, even though Reddick basically denied the reports last week, there's still a ton of speculation that he could be dealt before the draft, simply due to the fact the Eagles have a lot of cap concerns, multiple stars that need new deals, and Reddick's getting a little bit older. This, of course, all led Pro Football Focus to throw out a mock trade between Philadelphia and Houston that would send Reddick to the Texans in exchange for their 2024 second-round draft pick. And while I'd take Reddick for a second in an absolute heartbeat, there's a brand new report from SI.com's Ed Krantz where he explains why there might not be as much trade buzz around Haason Reddick as Eagle fans might think. The first important note is that there's a new league which suggests Reddick wants, $25 million a year, which, if we look at the list of the highest paid pass rushers in the league, $25 million for a guy who's a walking double-digit sacker makes a pretty fair argument. And SI.com's argument is that the pass rusher market is so loaded with solid talent who, yes, you would have to pay $20+ million for, but you wouldn't have to give up projected second or third round draft pick to go ahead and acquire. Think about it. If you're a team that needs a pass rusher and you were thinking about Haason Reddick, why wouldn't you first go to the open free agent market and look at a Brian Burns or a Chase Young or a Danielle Hunter or Josh Allen, give them the same exact deal that Reddick would want minus the second or third round draft pick? That way your team can keep their draft capital, sign a player under the age of 30, and still give the same basic deal for a top edge pass rusher. Now, following this logic, that would mean Reddick and the Eagles would be at a standstill in terms of their contract, and potentially you could have Reddick hold out of Eagles camp without a brand new deal. Although SI.com doesn't think that would actually happen, saying it's not likely, not given his love for the team he grew up rooting for across the river from Philly, just over the Ben Franklin Bridge in Camden, New Jersey. Now, just because young Haason Reddick was a fan of the Eagles growing up in Camden doesn't mean he's going to take a team-friendly deal, but time will tell if his market is actually as strong as Reddick probably thinks it is, or if the Eagles are going to be able to sign him for a little bit cheaper than $20 million a year, keep him in Philly, and not have to give him some sort of mega top 5 pass rusher extension. Now, speaking of getting a really good deal, YouTube told me that 72% of you guys watching this show aren't subscribed. 72%! So, go down below, hit that red subscribe button, that way you follow the best Eagles content, the best Eagles show, in my humble opinion, all off season long. Now, when it comes to the Eagles spending their current cap space, running back isn't the biggest need. We've talked about this, but there's one name that keeps popping up in the rumor mill, especially after NFL Rumors tweeted yesterday that the Baltimore Ravens and Philadelphia Eagles are top landing spots for Tennessee Titans free agent Derrick Henry. Now, I'll always try and be honest with you guys when covering these rumors that you see on Twitter. Like, the NFL Rumors Twitter account that we just cited isn't necessarily a bad account. It's not always wrong. It's not always right. And just because one Twitter account says the Eagles are very interested in X player doesn't mean the Eagles are going to sign X player, but it's at least interesting, right? I mean, let's not forget, Derrick Henry to Philadelphia is not anything new. Last season, right before the draft, there was this tweet from the American Ninja Warrior guy just a few days before the Eagles took the stage with their 2 first-round draft picks where he said Henry was headed to Philadelphia. But that, of course, didn't happen, and Akbar was ripped up and down on Twitter for this fake news take. However, Akbar then went on Rich Eisen's show a couple of weeks later and explained that the trade was set to happen, but the Tennessee Titans got cold feet.
I had a very credible source, and I do believe that I actually messed up this trade because it wasn't supposed to come out.
Oh, really?
And so I didn't realize that A, anybody would be paying attention. B, I didn't think that I wasn't supposed to say it. So I just said, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead. I wasn't trying to compete with Ian Rappaport and, and all the other guys.
This is a great pivot saying that you weren't incorrect. You were correct, but so influential. Right. You blew up the actual trade that never happened that you said was going to happen. That is impressive, Akbar.
Let me tell you something. Howie Roseman could have made it happen. We saw what he did with Jalen Hurts. He made that work, right?
Oh, no, of course.
We saw what he did with A.J. Brown. He made that work.
He could have had it.
This could have happened, but I think because I got out ahead of it and it just blew up, I blew up the scene. It didn't happen. Now, remember, the trade deadline, there's still an opportunity for this to happen. But
this year you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen right now. This is why I haven't taken it down, because I felt like, to be honest with you, I said, okay, well, I blew this one. This didn't happen the way it was supposed to, but I should have taken it down. But in my heart, because the source, and the source, You absolutely know the source. And this is a name that you see all the time.
Now, the question for Henry of the Eagles isn't really a matter of if he would be great or if the Eagles would actually want him, because both those things seem to be true. I mean, the guy's coming off of, 5 of the last 6 years with 1,000+ yards rushing? The real question is the price. Like, how much would Henry cost on the open market? Right now, Nick Chubb leads all backs at about $12.2 million in base salary, and the most recent signing running back was, Jonathan Taylor at $8.3 last year? But Henry, much like Haason Reddick, is in one of those gray zones right now where the production is very clear. Not like he had a down year in 2023, but his age is becoming a factor, and so do you want to give him a top 5 running back contract, or do you want to try to see if you can get him for a lot cheaper? Now, honestly, I'm really starting to lean towards the idea that Derrick Henry on the Eagles with Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore's offense could be very exciting, but if he wants anything over $10 million a year, you gotta be out. The Eagles just simply cannot afford that. But if he wants to go under $8 million a year, that's when Howie picks up the phone, calls his agent, and tries to kind of work something out. Now, maybe me saying anything less than top 5 running back money is ridiculous for Derrick Henry, but remember, Philadelphia has one big thing going for them that every other team in the NFL doesn't. They have A.J. Brown. Like, A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry are BFFs dating back to their Tennessee Titan days, and people seem to forget that Henry was very upset when the Titans traded A.J. to Philadelphia.
What was your reaction on draft night when you saw A.J. got traded?
I was mad. I was walking in the room when it said A.J. Brown traded to the Eagles. I was like, what? I'm just like, what's going on? We couldn't get it worked out. We trading. That's like my little brother. I mean, like, we was a tandem, you know. I was just like, man, I was hot. I talked to him on the phone because I was just like, man, because nobody expected that. He was like, what?
Right.
AJ, a proven receiver. So yeah, I was shocked. You know, I was hurt. That's my dog.
Now I can predict your comments before you even comment them down below. Thomas just re-signed DeAndre Swift, much cheaper, still really great, knows the offense. I get it, and I agree with that. I'm not against it. But would you really not want Derrick Henry in Philadelphia? Can you just imagine defenses trying to line up and go, okay, let's stop Derrick Henry with a loaded box, or we can stop A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert through the air? That's a really tough dilemma that I'd love to see defenses have to try to make when playing Philadelphia. Now, when it comes to money and contracts, there's obviously no bigger looming extension than DeVonta Smith. I mean, I guess besides Landon Dickerson, but we'll talk more about him tomorrow. Smitty needs a brand new deal. He needs it ASAP due to the fact that other NFL wide receivers are hoping to get their brand new deals and possibly reset the receiving market this offseason. For instance, there's a brand new report from PFT's Mike Florio on Justin Jefferson and the Vikings contract talks that are apparently so high that Minnesota is hesitant to give Justin Jefferson fully guaranteed money out of the first year in a new deal. It's not the dollars, it's the structure. They don't want to guarantee in full money beyond the first year of the deal for anyone other than the quarterback position. Likewise, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, they all want brand new deals, and if the Eagles don't hurry, Smitty could use these other new deals to help him get more money out of Philadelphia. Now, for what it's worth, I don't see DeVonta Smith trying to milk Philadelphia for all the money he possibly could get. I mean, he told the Inquirer just the other day, quote, "It's been amazing. I love playing in Philly. I don't think there's a better sports city in the U.S. I think Philly's top tier. Any sport, they're dialed in. That's what I love about it. I love that we all support each other. Basketball comes to football. Football comes to basketball. And baseball, we all support each other. But money is money, and your first contract after your rookie deal is sometimes the most expensive contract you could ever command in your NFL career. It's generational wealth that sets up yourself, your parents, your siblings, your kids, their kids. I mean, money for a very, very long time, and Smitty definitely is deserving. I think Philly needs to do what they did with Jalen Hurts last offseason, where they pay him first before the other quarterbacks. That way they reap the benefits as you sit back and watch other teams then give bigger contracts that go above what DeVonta Smith got in order to make their receivers even happier. What do you guys think? Is DeVonta Smith the most important offseason signing Philadelphia has? Let me know down below right now. Now, I just mentioned Jalen Hurts, and of course, speaking of him, in case you hadn't had enough of talking heads absolutely ripping our quarterback this offseason, may I present to you Jalen Hurts hater number one, Chris Sims, at the Super Bowl last week via the Phoenix Cardinals podcast.
He said, you pit him against a guy that's high up your rankings that you would take Kyler over. Is there like anybody like a Jalen Hurts or anybody that you would say, I got to think real hard about this?
Well, that would be one of them for sure. Yeah, I don't think you heard me talk yesterday. Yeah. Jalen Hurts I respect a lot about Jalen Hurts, but I think Jalen Hurts is also like the most overrated player in football. All right, that's me. I know I'm wrong. I take a lot of crap about that comment, but he plays quarterback for a team that's an all-star team. Yeah. They have the best O-line in football. It's not even close, right? They got maybe the best duos at receiver in all of football, right? I just think if you put some other quarterbacks in Philly, you put Kyler Murray there, you'd go, damn, Kyler's amazing. Is he the MVP of football? And I think we lose sight of all of that a little bit. Again, it gets into the quarterback team thing, where right now we're all about the quarterback. And, he'd be one of those guys that I certainly would go, hey, when Kyler's on his game, he is every bit in the class of Jalen Hurts, in my opinion.
So funny that the all-star team argument is used against Jalen Hurts' success, yet Brock Purdy on the 49ers, or Patrick Mahomes with Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, even Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and Prime Zeke a couple of years back, that wasn't a problem at all. But no, according to Chris Sims, Jalen Hurts is just the benefit of being on a very, very good team, despite the fact that the team struggled last year, and yet Hurts was still really good, but still threw a little bit more picks than he should have. Either way, we don't have to listen to what Chris Sims says. I mean, I almost just hesitant to throw him on here because people get so upset, but it's just funny to watch somebody continually rip Jalen Hurts, even after Jalen Hurts has proven to be a top-tier caliber quarterback, regardless of who's around him. He was fantastic 2 years ago. He was still really good in 2023, and yet Sims, I guess just for clicks and because it's his MO, has to be the Hurts hater, and so you get comments like that. Now I'm back. I was on vacation for the past couple of days, skiing up in Colorado. Kept with the mustache. We'll keep that for a couple of days as long as the fiance continues to allow it to be on there. But we got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks on this channel. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe and get ready as the new league year approaches. Philadelphia rumors get wilder and wilder, and we'll cover it all here on the Thomas Mott Show. I'm Thomas Mott. See you guys in the next one.